Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Ethos Lineup Lock Show. I am Keith Cork. I'm going to be hosting here for you guys. I do apologize if anything freezes. I'm back on my laptop here, so I apologize about that, guys. But it should be good. I think I fixed my issue here with my browser freezing. So hopefully we'll be good here. I'm going to have Arnold Cadena joining me any moment now. Here he is. Arnold, my man, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. It's going well. I'm excited for today. We got two big games.
Yes, big games. Games actually mean something. Sorry again, guys, for the little rush around here. We had a little bit of an issue here, but we are live. We made it happen. So obviously, man, I think the thing people are going to be looking for here from us is, who do I play that's not going to be owned by anybody else? Because, two games, you only have so many, options to go with here. So it's like who's the people that you're looking at that are going to be low owned that maybe some people are overlooking. I'm gonna let you start here while I try to close some of these tabs so my computer runs a little faster. But what do you got for some low owned plays there tonight?
Yeah, so I got a couple people. I think one of the guys that I really like on Atlanta's side is going to be DeAndre Hunter. Miami, they're giving up a lot of points and rebounds to the opposing small forward position. DeAndre Hunter is one of those sneaky guys that could come in and get you about 15, 18 points. He could also get those rebounds for you, and a team that is like they're desperately looking for a small forward to take them over the top if they really want to compete. DeAndre Hunter is definitely going to be in a good position to step up. I really like DeAndre Hunter on Atlanta's side.
Yeah.
We can move over to Miami. I really like Gabe Vincent, 4.5K over here on DraftKings. Ever since he's been starting, he's been really solid. He's one of those guys that just gets into really good positions, especially for a team that doesn't necessarily have a true point guard, because Jimmy takes up the ball, Tyler Hero takes up the ball, Bam takes up the ball. So with a team like that, you have to have those guys that are going to be in the right positions at the right time. Gabe Vincent, he's really good at that. He's really good at getting to those corners at the top of the key, wherever they need. The facilitation by Jimmy Butler. I mean, Gabe Vincent's a good play over here if you're looking for someone who isn't going to be highly owned.
It looks like my camera might have went out. Can you still hear me, Arnold?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least you guys can still hear me. I'm not sure why you can't see me. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the camera there. But it's all good. We are going to continue to push through this at all of our technical difficulties. But, yeah, I agree. Gabe Vincent's a guy I was looking at heavily on this slate. I think he is a guy that people are going to overlook. Kyle Lowry is still questionable for this game, so we'll see if he plays or even if he does play, I mean, the guy's cooked, man. He's just not very good at this point in time. So, I think Gabe Vincent still gets the bulk share of time at point guard anyways. And he's just a really nice price there, $4,500 on DraftKings. FanDuel, I believe he's very similar pricing as well. So $4,900. So, very affordable on both sites. So you can go ahead and lock him in on either one. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Here's another guy in that Atlanta-Miami game that I'm looking at here is just kind of a low-owned guy. I'm looking at Kevin Love at 4,700 as well. I think this is a guy that's got playoff experience. He's a guy that is going to get probably minutes in the low 20s. But even if he gets limited minutes, we've seen that he can put up very decent fantasy lines here. So that's another game I'm going to shout out there in that early game. Obviously, we all know what Trae Young can do. We all know what DeJounte Murray can do, but we're trying to give you guys some plays that are going to be overlooked here. I think Jimmy Butler, obviously, if we're talking about studs, he's a pretty good guy to lock in for me. I think on this slate, just the way he's killed the Atlanta Hawks. So if you guys are looking for a spend up, that's probably one way I would go as well in this game. I'm going to remove myself here from the stream and rejoin and see if my camera will start working, Arnold. But talk to me a little bit about Jimmy Butler, Trae Young, some of the stars in this game. Who you're looking at there?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with Jimmy Butler. Atlanta, they're giving up the second most points to opposing power forwards, and that's the exact position that he plays. So we have the second most points, DraftKings points, and that's going to be third in regular points and third to rebounding. We have bottom half of the league when it comes to his assists, sixth most 3 points made, seventh most steals. Like, this guy is going to tear up Atlanta. I think Jimmy Butler is just a stud play. If you're going to spend up for anybody, I think Jimmy Butler needs to be that play. I have him locked in. He was in my delivery today. I think Jimmy Butler is going to just demolish Atlanta. To kind of just foreshadow a little bit, demolish, really do think Atlanta's going to lose today to Miami. And I think Jimmy Butler is going to be a really big part of that. We take it over to the other side. Trae Young is great. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not spending 10K on him, though. That's one thing I'm not going to do. I think that's just way too high up there. I think that's just like, even if this guy gives you 25 and 10, or let's say like 30 and 12 even, that still doesn't reach value. And that doesn't mean that he can't reach value. It's just, if you're trying to put yourself in a position to win, you want to exceed value. I don't think Trae Young can exceed that 10K mark.
I think he's going to be a low-owned guy, so that's one reason I am looking at him in the GPPs that I'm playing. So for that very reason, I think if you're playing cash, you're just trying to hit the money. I agree with you. I tend to agree with you there. I think it's, you can get more bang for your buck for a lot of these other guys on the slate. But yeah, I do think that, for a GPP, he is a guy I would look at for sure. But yeah, Jimmy Butler is absolutely a smash. I think fading Jimmy Butler in a GPP is risky as heck, but it is also something I'm looking at as well. So, but yeah, some of those lower owned guys, I think Kevin Love, and I mentioned obviously Gabe Vincent. We both mentioned Gabe Vincent, and you also had. I'm sorry, I was trying to adjust at the time, but you mentioned one other name there as a kind of value play. Who was that you were mentioning at first?
DeAndre Hunter.
DeAndre Hunter, yeah. So I like those calls. Let's move on to the second game here, though. Oh, before we do that, let me just ask you, Arnold, who do you have in this game? I mean, it sounds like you got the Heat winning. I believe they're 5 favorites. So do you have them winning by 5 points, or are they going to cover the spread?
I don't. I have Miami. Miami winning, and I have Atlanta covering. I think it's going to be a closer game. I know I said demolished earlier. It's not going to be demolished. This is a play-in. This is a playoffs. Atlanta has so much experience. Miami has so much experience. It's not going to be a game where one team just loses it. I think Miami's going to take it. Atlanta covers, though.
Yeah. I think I'm on Atlanta here to cover. I think it's going to be like you said, a close game. I think Atlanta has that variance where they can absolutely go off and hit threes, and they play at a high pace. So if this becomes an Atlanta Hawks game, I know I heard Fiddle and Brewski talking about it, but if it becomes an Atlanta Hawks game, the over is probably going to hit, and the Hawks are probably going to be very close, if not win this game. So I think a lot of people are like so totally sold on the Heat winning. I think there's a good chance that they do, but I do think there's a more than there's a chance that the Hawks can win that you can't ignore. Let me put it that way. So
absolutely, it's in the realm of possibilities.
Absolutely. So all right, let's move on to the other game here. We've got obviously the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Lakers. So same thing as last time. Let's go ahead and talk about. I think it's probably what I'm more excited about in terms of like value plays. But talk to me about some guys you have as a value play in this game.
As a value play in this game. It's a very, very, very sneaky one. This is a little bit biased, but I really like Nathan Knight at 3.9K. He's going to be the backup center for Minnesota with Rudy Gobert out. So I see a couple.
Luka Garza minutes for you?
I don't think Luka Garza gets a minute. I'm looking at the lineups right now. I do not see Luka Garza here, and that's the only reason why I'm not saying Luka Garza. Because if Luka Garza was here in this rotation that I'm looking at right now, then I would love Luka Garza. I'm a huge Luka Garza fan. But if he's not, then I think I have to lean towards Nathan Knight, and only because the Los Angeles Lakers cannot defend backup centers.
Yeah.
And it seems kind of outrageous, but hear me out. A while back, I made a call for Isaiah Hartenstein, the backup center for the New York Knicks. He was at like 3,000. I had him in a bunch of lineups, and he did amazing. Same thing. I did it with one of the Spurs backup centers, and I did it with one of the Pistons backup centers, and I just a little thing. So I have this little niche that I like playing the backup centers of the opposing team that the Lakers play. So Nathan Knight in a couple lineups is a lock for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting angle. I think, they were playing Winning Gabriel a lot. I think they will still play Winning Gabriel as their backup center, which doesn't – obviously, he's an undersized guy. So I think, Nathan Knight is a guy that could take advantage of that situation. Mo Bamba is healthy. It remains to be seen if he's going to be playing in the rotation. I don't know. He only got like a handful of minutes in the last couple of games of the season. So maybe they're trying to save him and make sure he was good to go for the playoffs. But I'm probably leaning with you that they're probably going to play Winning Gabriel as a backup center. And if that's the case, then I think you can continue to safely attack that backup center position. So that's a good call there. If you guys haven't liked and subscribed, I see some, watchers and listeners here. Go ahead and like and subscribe so you get notified every time we go live. We're going to be doing some longer shows as there's more games on the slate here. We've only got 2 games tonight, so not a lot to cover. Not a whole lot of injury news either. But one big piece of injury news here, which I'm going to go ahead and cover for us, Arnold, is that Jaden McDaniels obviously broke his hand getting ticked off at his team or at his own defense or whatever it was. So he's not going to be playing for the foreseeable future. We're not sure when he's going to be back, but he's out for this game for sure. Obviously, with him being out, one guy I'm really eyeing on the Minnesota Timberwolves is Taurean Prince at 5,600. I think a lot of people are going to like him there and have him in their roster. So I think he's not like a crazy pick there, but people might overlook him because they, just not a household name. But he's a defender. They're going to need a defender to guard guys like LeBron and whatever. But I'm thinking Taurean Prince is going to step into that role that Jaden McDaniels had for the Timberwolves. So I think he's a really solid play. On FanDuel, he's actually 4,700, where I think he's a smash play. I don't think I'm going to fade him on FanDuel at all. I think you fade him on DraftKings at 5,600 just fine. But
but at 47, it's tough.
Yeah. On FanDuel, especially when there's so few choices, I think it's tough. I think you just slide him in there because a lot of people are going to have him there. So, but it sounds like you agree with me. Is there anyone else on these T-Wolves that you're looking at as undervalued guy that could put up some big numbers?
I don't think it's necessarily going to be undervalued because I think we all know what Kyle Anderson does, but I think Kyle Anderson is a safe play today. And in the whole realm of possibilities, I do see a situation where Kyle Anderson is the backup center for the Timberwolves. And they play like a small ball lineup where they have like Mike Conley, Edwards, and they run Kyle Anderson at the 5 and everything. I had a very small feeling that they're going to do something like that to attack the Lakers tonight. Just run a small ball, and I feel like that works against the Lakers every running a small ball lineup, even with like their size. I just have that feeling. But even if it doesn't happen, Kyle Anderson knows how to stuff the stat sheets. He knows how to be pesky. He's annoying as hell. Rudy Gobert punched him for a reason. Look, Kyle Anderson is a good play because he knows how to get those rebounds. He can get you into good situations on offense when he's passing the ball. I mean, he's going to be a little bit of a wreck today. I think he's going to be a really underrated player as far as the Timberwolves go. And if they want to win, Kyle Anderson's going to have to be good.
Yeah, I think in real life he'll be underrated, but for DFS purposes, I think everyone's going to have Kyle Anderson. I can't blame you. I think he's going to be highly owned, especially on FanDuel where he's 6,500. I believe on DK he's 70-something hundred. He's like in the 7. I think you could fade him on DK, honestly, because here's the thing about Kyle Anderson. Sometimes he just plain just disappears. Like, sometimes he just doesn't have that ceiling game. He just has that floor game, and it's pretty underwhelming when you're talking about a guy that let's see, he's at 7,600 on DraftKings, so he could easily have that floor game and just kind of bird everybody that's got him. And if you want to fade him there, I think it's fine. It's still risky, of course. I think again, a lot of people are going to own him. No Gobert, no Jaden McDaniels. I mean, he's going to be out there for upwards of 40 minutes. But there are times where he plays that many minutes and just doesn't produce a whole, a solid line. He just kind of produces a low end. He's going to produce something. You can guarantee that, but it's not going to be that ceiling play every single time. So, but yeah, I have him on both sides. I'll go ahead and just say that, full disclosure there. I'm not fading him, but I think you can actually do that on DK, in my opinion. On the Lakers side, one guy you didn't mention, I don't know. One guy I'm looking at here is Jared Vanderbilt at 5,000 on FanDuel, and on DK he's 4,400. I think at DK, especially, of course, the lower price tag makes him even more appealing. But I'm looking for I think this is really an under the radar play because I think a lot of people will just skip over him because he's not really a guy that has a high usage rate. But I feel like there's going to be no Gobert. They're going to be playing Nathan Knight minutes. They might be playing Kyle Anderson at the center. I think there's more rebounds here to be had for a guy like a Jared Vanderbilt. And he is a big, rebound, put back type guy. So I think, if you get an extra, maybe 4 to 6 points from him, an extra 2 to 3 rebounds from him, you're cooking with gas at that price tag on a 2-game slate. I mean, guys, we can't really be super duper picky here. You have to have somebody there. And he's a nice price saver there on DK. And on FanDuel, even at 5,000, I think he's decent, man. So, the Minnesota Timberwolves play a faster pace, so I think there's more scoring just in general. So I do like me some Jared Vanderbilt. How are you feeling about him today?
Yeah, I really like it. We necessarily don't know exactly how everybody's been matching up with each other, but Jared Vanderbilt has taken like the Kawhi role, or not the Kawhi role, but he had to play on Kawhi the minutes that Kawhi was playing. So I think if Anthony Edwards were to get hot, which it kind of seems like it feels like that kind of game where Anthony Edwards just takes like 25 shots and just just makes out a lot of them. Vanderbilt's going to get those minutes defensively against Edwards. So the minutes that Edwards played will probably be matched. And I love the minutes upside for Vanderbilt because one thing about it is that he doesn't play as many minutes as you think. He plays about 25. He doesn't play the 35 minutes. But if he gets to that, rebound's going to be coming in.
Yeah.
All the defensive plays, steals and blocks, he's going to be pest. He's going to be a pest on the floor. And I really like it. So I think that was a good opportunity for him to play more minutes. And even if he's not going to be matched up against Anthony Edwards, I'm sure he's still going to be a pest no matter who he's matched up against. He knows the Timberwolves really well.
Yeah, I think, I do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I do think the Vanderbilt's going to be overlooked here. So just a low owned play that I think is going to be nice for you guys out there. I'm curious to see what his ownership is when we lock here in about 5 minutes. But yeah, I'm interested to see about that. But yeah, speaking of, you mentioned my guy here, who's probably my favorite spend up on the entire slate here, in Anthony Edwards. I mean, the thing is, guys, with no Gobert, what that does is it forces Towns to play the center position. Towns is going to be on the perimeter trying to bring Anthony Davis out of the paint in order for Anthony Edwards to be able to attack the rim. And that's gold for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards likes to get downhill, likes to attack the rim. Mind is just absolutely blown by the fact that they traded so much away for Gobert, who is a terrible fit next to Karl-Anthony Towns and next to Anthony Edwards. It stunts both of their growth. And don't know why they did that. Sorry, T-Wolves fans. It's just a bad trade. There's no way you can deny that at this point. But I think without Gobert in there, it really raises the ceiling for Anthony Edwards. I'm looking for a big game from him. The Timberwolves may not win in this one, but he's going to put up some big numbers, I think, because, the Lakers defense is decent. It's an average to slightly above average defense. It's, after they added those pieces at the trade deadline, but still Anthony Edwards is just a transcendent offensive player at times. And I'm looking for a big game from him here. So it sounds like you are as well, right?
Yeah, I'm a huge Anthony Edwards guy. I love it. I love the play.
Yeah. And of course, you got LeBron and AD on the other side. I mean, I think either of those guys, could absolutely go off in this one, but the pricing obviously on both sites. They're both the most expensive guys, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 11-6 and 10-9 for AD and LeBron on FanDuel, and on DraftKings you've got 11-2 and 10-9. So I think it's fine. I mean, I think you're going to get lower ownership since because of that pricing, but then you're really, I mean, there are not a lot of – it's the playoffs, guys. Like, they're not going 12 deep here. I mean, a lot of these guys that are down roster, I mean, there's Nathan Knight. I like that call because he's 3,900 on DraftKings. He's probably pretty cheap on FanDuel as well. Wendy Gabriel at 3,500. But, like, these guys are not going to put up big stat lines. So you're going to need a whole lot of scoring and points from your top guys if you're going to go the AD or LeBron route, which I just can't find myself getting to it. I mean, have you found a roster construction that works to get those guys in?
Honestly, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to see what I can find to really put those guys in. It's just hard. It's just hard to really find a good combination, especially since there's a lot of mid-tier players. Mm-hmm. And you want to play so many people, and you really can't. And I tried with Anthony Davis. He's the highest player, because I think he might have the most upside when it comes to these two games as far as a player goes. But even at that, it's just so hard. Right now, most of my lineups are looking Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler, and just a bunch of role players, and that's what I've been able to get work. But it's hard to do that. LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I'm not really looking into it right now.
Yeah, I don't
especially
think
with a couple minutes left.
Oh, look, this is interesting. Cam IM says AD actually has some of his worst games against Cat. He shoots 37% against them. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the sample size is there. But yeah, I do believe, it's not the best matchup in the world for AD, but if in terms of which player, looking at the slate in general, which player has the ability to put up an 80, 70 to 80 point game, I'd say AD is probably the only one. Maybe Trae Young, but there's no way. I'd take AD 9 out of 10 times over Trae Young if I'm trying to get a guy that's going to get a big game. So if you want to go that angle, again, it's really difficult to construct lineup as we're talking about here. So we're not doing it personally, but you can do that in a large field GPP, and I think you'll get low ownership, which is going to help you a lot. But good call there, Cam. I think it's probably a safe fade for the most part here. But let me talk to you. You're a Lakers fan here. Obviously, you got to have a little bit of bias there. But who do you got in this game? I believe it's what is it? I think it's a 5-point spread as well, or a 4.5 point spread. Oh no, I'm sorry,
8.5.
8.5 spread. Wow, that climbed quite a bit. Ooh, so I'm assuming you're taking the Lakers to win this one, but what's the spread here? Are you taking the spread as well?
I'll tell you this: 82 games, all of them have been stressful. It doesn't matter what lineup. This could be the third string lineup, and I don't care. This will be the most stressful game in my life. Los Angeles Lakers take it. Minnesota covers. That's just definite. I think this line was like -5 yesterday when it
Yeah.
came out. Maybe it's -6, and I still took Minnesota to cover because the Lakers cannot have a game where they're not about to lose. Like there's never going to be a blowout. There's never going to be. It's tough as a Lakers fan, man. I'm about to lose hair because of this. But
You're
yeah,
talking
no,
to a
Minnesota
Bulls fan. Don't
covers.
talk to me. Yeah. No, I got you.
Oh no, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I got you.
At least you have Michael Jordan. At least you have Michael Jordan. So
We have the 90s.
yeah, that's good. That's good. But yeah, no, I think Minnesota definitely covers, but I think the Lakers do take it.
Yeah, I think I saw it spread. It had to be. I think it was 5 points before, so I'm pretty surprised it climbed that much. I think without Gobert, I don't honestly think the Wolves are necessarily worse, and they might be better without Gobert. So yeah, I do tend to think. I don't have an actual bet on this game on the spread, but I do tend to think that the T Wolves are going to cover there. But yeah, I think the Lakers take this pretty much with ease with no Jaden McDaniels. I think that's the biggest piece that's missing here. The defense of the Wolves is just going to be atrocious. So let's take a look at some of the ownership here. I did end up going with Trae Young, as I told you, just kind of a GPP play here. I'm looking to get that big money. It's the end of the season, man. Got to shoot big. So he's 16.7% owned on FanDuel, and I'm trying to see what he is on DK here. So some other guys that I have on FanDuel, Gabe Vincent, 42.7%. That's really not surprising at all. Both of those numbers aren't surprising. Jimmy Butler, 56.7%, not surprising in the least bit. Let me see here. Am I still there? Sorry,
Yeah.
It looks like I might be freezing. Okay.
No.
I am on my laptop
You're good.
again, so sorry about that,
I
guys.
have Kevin Love at 15%.
15%, that's good.
Yeah.
Kevin Love's a good guy there. I like that ownership. Here we go. Kevin Love, 12.4% on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So I like that. Those are good calls, I think. Again, I'm hoping for a big game from Trae Young. I'm hoping that Anthony Davis doesn't have that 80 burger or 70 burger that we were talking about. It's very well possible, but we'll see how that plays out for me. Here's an interesting thing on DK. Looks like Gabe Vincent in my GPP here is only 23.8% owned. So that's good value there. I like that a whole lot. Trae Young's only 7.7% owned. So again, that's what I was hoping for, low ownership. And I'm just hoping. I mean, hey, this guy's dropped 50 points in the game, 50 real life points in the game. I mean, is he going to do against the Miami Heat? Probably not. But hey, if he scores 35, 40 and the other stars don't necessarily have a great night, then I'm cooking with gas there. So Kevin Love only 12% owned, so that's good. And that's all I'm able to see at this point in time from the earlier game. So anyone else that you're
I had a lineup where I had Bogdanovic. I think he might be a sneaky play tonight. Honestly, I know it's already too late to say it and everything, but I think Bogdanovic was a pretty good play, only because of the experience that he has in the playoffs with the Hawks. I think he just comes off the bench and just plays just a little bit better than he normally does, kind of takes more of a leadership role. I have it at 26%.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, some lower owner guys, which is what we were shooting for here. Obviously, a 2-game slate, you have to differentiate, and that obviously rhymes, and it's a good little rule of thumb. So, but until next time, guys, I am Keith Cork. I will hopefully be on my PC next time, so it'll be a little bit more high quality. Sorry about that, guys. I had to run and go grab my laptop because I was logged out. Anyways, long story short, I had technical difficulties, but next time I'll have them solved. Arnold, thanks for joining, man. You can follow us on Twitter at our handles down here. You can see them. Also, make sure that you are subscribed so you get notified every time we go live. But Arnold, thanks for joining me, man. We are going to head out, and we will see y'all next time.